Good morning. I'm Debbie Cannon.
And I'm Diana Ridgell with Keller Williams.
Tyler.
And this is Collin Phaup with Goosehead Insurance. We're gonna be doing Coffee with Collin.
Coffee with Collin. I like
Coffee
that.
with Collin.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Collin.
So I have been a licensed insurance professional since 2005. I'm a certified insurance counselor since 2008. I was a farmer's agent at my dad's farmer's agency for the first 8 years of my career. I opened the first Goosehead agency in East Texas in January of 2013. So we went independent in 2013. It was a very good business move. I tell Dad all the time, thank you for kicking me out of the nest, so to speak, because now we have choice for the clients, and ultimately, that's led to better, stability for our clients as far as price is concerned, and it's also led to us being able to write a lot more business because we can serve a bigger, market. We have, product for the $50,000 home to the $1 million plus home. And we can round out coverage with auto and all the other fun stuff as well.
Okay, how important is it that you are contacted early in the purchase of a buyer's home?
Yeah, it's really kind of vital. So what I always tell, our referral partners and our clients is, before you get out of option is a really good time to bring us into the process. And there's a few reasons for that. One is we can get, a sense of what the pricing is going to look like for you. And the lenders that we work with, that's a key piece, right? So, if the insurance is too high, it can throw off debt to income ratios and things like that. It can lead to qualification issues under the loan program. So getting a sense of what you're looking at as far as the price is concerned is vital. But we can also do some different things too. As a part of our process, we can assess your risk, get an idea, on your profile as far as, what is important to you. And then 2 or 3 really, that we can run loss history, see what that home looks like as far as, prior losses. Has it had previous water losses, issues with the roof, things like that. We can give you our best advice on those things. We can also run a flood zone determination and see if you're looking at flood insurance in addition to the homeowner's insurance as well. So the option period is a good time, before you get out of that period to, get a sense of what you're looking at as far as insurance is concerned.
Yes, and that starts the minute that contract is executed. So you usually have 7 to 10 days in your option period.
Right.
So
you kind of went through the process. So how do you determine if the property needs flood insurance?
Yeah,
especially in this area.
Yeah, in this area, Smith County itself has been remapped twice since Katrina. And so, FEMA is much more aggressive now about what they consider to be in a flood zone. So, sometimes if a seller has owned the home for a long time and it's paid for, and they go to sell the home, they don't realize that it's now in a flood zone until somebody is going out to get a loan on that property, and the lender's like, you're going to have flood insurance on this. And flood insurance can be expensive. In a moderate to a high hazard area, it can be, $1,000, $2,000 plus dollars.
Oh, wow.
So on top of your homeowner's insurance, that can definitely lead to issues as far as qualifying under your loan program. There are some things you can do on the flood side to help reduce your cost. There's an elevation certificate that's done as a part of a survey that can help bring down the cost of the flood insurance potentially. And so we can give you that good advice on that. But basically what we do is we run a standard FEMA flood hazard determination. And so I always ask this question, in education seminars, raise your hand if you're in a flood zone. And you'll see a few hands go up, and I say everybody should be raising their hand because we all live in a flood zone. It's just that 90% of us live in flood zone X, which is a low hazard area that doesn't require, flood insurance is not mandatory.
Okay.
But if you're in a mandatory or a moderate to high hazard flood zone A or AE, then you're going to be required if you have a loan to have the flood insurance. Now, just because you're not in a moderate to high hazard area doesn't mean you don't need flood insurance. 33% of all flood claims happen in a low hazard flood zone.
Yeah.
So it can still happen, and those policies are pretty inexpensive, because it's not as likely to happen.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Right.
Okay. Do insurance companies usually have an appraiser go out and inspect the home, the property?
Right. Not before they know they're on the hook for it. So normally the way the process works is that if a client selects a policy with the carrier and we bind the coverage for closing, at that point the carrier knows they're on the hook for the policy. So that's when their underwriting period starts. So they have 30 days after closing to go out and look at a home to determine if there's any issues that they see, whether it's a condition issue or a liability issue. And so it's a good idea to do, have your agent do his homework on the front end to help you avoid any issues post-closing. But most carriers will not go out before they know they're on the hook for it. There's only a couple of carriers that I'm aware of in the industry that won't issue a policy until they look at it. So that is not the normal process. So it's a very good idea, especially in regards to a roof, to do your due diligence. Roofs are such a huge area, of concern for carriers in North Texas. That's the first thing a carrier looks at when they do their physical inspection of the property, and you may already be closed on it. So it's a good idea to do your homework on the front end. Your real estate professionals can point you to, a roofer that they have worked with previously that can give a good, honest opinion on the condition of that roof. Deterioration is not something that's covered in an insurance policy. So if it has a deterioration issue, that needs to be something that's negotiated before closing. If there's hail damage, that's also something that can be taken care of prior to closing as well. That seller can go file a claim with their insurance carrier, and then that roof can potentially be replaced prior to closing. And that's a huge asset for the buyer, because homes with roofs replaced in the last 5 years in general get a much better insurance rate, because the carrier can, outside of a major hailstorm or a major windstorm, they can kind of cross that off their list for a few years of the things that they might have to pay for.
Right.
Yeah.
So you would think that it would be good to have not only just a home inspection, but have a roofer come.
Absolutely.
If there's something on the home inspection.
Yeah, if the home inspector goes out and says a couple of things. So there's a red flag. Red flag one is it's in the last third of its life. If the home inspector says that, we may have a condition or deterioration issue. If the home inspector says there's potentially hail damage here, that's definitely a time to get a roofer to come out and give their opinion. It definitely is something that the client needs to feel like they're comfortable with assuming some risk on prior to closing. Yeah.
So get their home inspection done early, so in case there's problems with the roof, you can call.
You can tackle that
Before the option period's
exactly.
up.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So communication, how important is that to you guys?
Well, it's vital. I mean, we want our partners to be in communication with us, obviously, and we try and reciprocate that to make sure that our partners know, where we are in the process when we're working with the client that they've sent to us. But more than that, as far as the client is concerned, being able to provide an educational process, that's really one of the things that when I opened my own agency that I wanted to focus on. And I think that's why we do so well, especially with new home buyers and first-time home buyers, is that, we really want a client to feel like they're educated on the product, what's covered and what's not. An educated client is a happy client. And so we probably do spend more time than what I see in the industry on, educating the clients about the products and services that we're providing, what policy form they're in, what their coverages are, what their endorsements are, what their deductibles are, so they know what their out-of-pocket expense is if they have a claim. And so, that's the kind of communication that we want to provide on the client level. We maintain the service of every policy that we sell. So we broker for multiple insurance carriers, but we don't work for them. We work for the client. And that's an important distinction. We're not going to, write you with an insurance carrier and then leave you to the wolves. When you have a coverage question, a potential claim scenario, we ask that our clients come back to us first, because then we can help them interact with the carrier, and we can hopefully help them avoid, any heartache.
Right.
And so, in most cases, we have found that our clients are really comfortable with what our process is, and it's worked out very well for everyone.
So when you talk about you educate them, and that goes with not only what their deductible is, but they get insured on property, theft, accidents on their property. And you work with them on that so that is a balance that they could afford.
Yes, exactly. What I've seen, especially with some major carriers here in Texas, is that in order to maintain the appearance of being competitive on price, what they've done is they've shifted the burden to the insurance and to the client, and that's either through a higher deductible. So now their exposure is higher. If they have a claim, they have more out-of-pocket expense. So you're seeing 2% deductibles or higher flat dollar deductibles, which means that a client is going to have more withheld from any potential claim payment. But you're also seeing some carriers limit them on what they would pay for a roof once it gets to a certain age. And so I feel like what we're going to see in the industry as a whole is that carriers get beat up so badly on homeowners insurance in Texas because we're such a unique claim state is that we really have to provide a lot of education to the client on, look, if there's limitations to this policy, what are they? Make sure that that's something that they're comfortable with, or hey, we can maybe pay a little more, $100 more or $200 more for the year, and put you with a carrier that doesn't give you those limitations, right? The average claim frequency in Texas is every 6.7 years. So if you own a home for 10 years, more than likely you're going to have a claim at some point in that time period. And if you had a higher deductible, a lot of the times, what you saved is ate up the first time you have to make a claim, and you're probably going to have to make a claim at some point in that first 10 years. So sometimes it just doesn't pay for itself, to buy a cheap insurance policy.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, so let me ask you, if the seller is putting it on the market, and he knows whether we've had hail or not.
Sure.
And they've just not had anybody come out
Take a
and
look
look
at it.
at it. They can actually call their insurance person and say, look, when was the last hail? I'm getting ready to sell my house. I'm going to have a roofer come out and look at it. That way, if the roofer comes back and says, hey,
yes,
it needs to be replaced.
yeah, absolutely. And so, I try and keep track of hail events, but, it's hard for, me here in Tyler to know what happened in Winona or Chapel Hill in some cases. But I'll tell you who it's not hard for. Roofing professionals, right? Because they have hail swath reports and all kinds of data that they have at their fingertips. So when a seller goes to put their house on the market, really one of the things that they can do as a part of that pre-sale process is get with their real estate professional, ask if there's a roofer that they trust, and have that roofer pull their reports over the last year. Has there been a hail event in the last year? Because that's really your time period to go back and make a claim. Okay, you've got 1 year.
1 year. That's
From the
good
day
to
that
know.
you exist on, you've got 1 year back. So has there been a hail event in the past year that I could potentially go to my insurance carrier for on a claim? If there has been, then say, well, I'd really like for you to come take a look at my roof and give me an honest opinion. So really the best thing that a seller can do is do their due diligence on the front end. Make sure that they get with their real estate professional who can consult a roofing professional to give them an idea if there's been a hailstorm in the last 12 months that they can go back to, and then give them an opinion on their roof.
Well, okay, thank you, Collin, for doing this.
Absolutely.
And,
For a second time. The first time we cut him completely out, and I do apologize for that.
That's okay.
How did they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so very easily, we're located inside Keller Williams Realty, Tyler. You can come see us, we're just down the hall. 903-534-5800 is our office number. It's myself, I got a couple of good guys in the office that are licensed as well. We'd all be glad to help you. If you want to check us out on social media or website, it's thegooseheadguy.com. Pretty neat website there, but we'd be glad to help.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really excited about getting this out there for you guys because this is a lot of good information, not only for buyers but also for realtors.
Right.
So again, thank you, and thank you. I know you're a busy man.
Fortunately, thank y'all. Yes, keep us busy.
So anyway, I also want to let you know we have 2 more days on our contest for the Home Hub. So go online, go on Facebook and sign up. There's a link for you to go to put information in, answer a few questions, and you're signed up. So, and we will be drawing at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So I'm Debbie Cannon.
And I'm Diana Reggio with Keller Williams.
Tyler. Thank you.